What's up, witches?
What's up?
So today is part 2
Dos.
of our discussion about the elemental correspondences. So which element are we talking about today?
Air. It's east. Because we're going by the cardinal directions: north, east, south, and west.
All right, so air it is.
Air it is. What are you looking at me for?
Do
Are
you
you
want-
wanting me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the symbol for air, the magical symbol, you can just barely see it up there, is the triangle with the line going through about 2/3 of the way to the top. Okay. Sometimes you'll see it. I mean, I've seen it, and I write it like this. I don't know if it's because it's, the anarchy symbol has the line going through it, but also outside of it. Sometimes you'll see the line extending outside of the triangle, but it's the same thing. All right. The triangle with the line at the top is the symbol for air. It is it also is correspondent to or associated with the direction of east. So on your altar, just like Earth would be facing north, air would be to your right at that point if you're standing at the southern position of the altar, so it would be at your right. The elemental spirit of air is a sylph, and that is basically a what again? Kind of like a fairy.
Well, it's something like a fairy, but the research that I did indicated that they are mortal but soulless. So basically, they're politicians.
Like your ex. Like your ex.
Okay.
That was, or a politician. We were both trying to be funny and kind of drowned each other out. But yes, it's immortal but soulless.
Yeah.
That sounds more like a demon.
Yeah, I didn't think that was possible unless it was something
Well,
like
demons
that.
aren't mortal, but they could be. But anyway, so the season for air is springtime.
Mm-hmm.
The time of day for it is dawn. That one I can see.
Yeah,
Unlike,
I can kind of see that one.
yeah, unlike with Earth, it's midnight. Or not twilight, but midnight. That one I couldn't really get with, but yeah, dawn.
Because that's when things start. And basically, with air, you're starting things. You're getting the inspiration.
Spring is also
the start of things blooming.
right.
Okay. Colors associated with air are yellow or gold, white or light blue. Light blue like the sky.
Notice how gold and white can be associated with both Earth and, because if you watched our part 1 on Earth, 2 of the colors for Earth were gold and white.
Yes.
So now again, same thing. So there's many things with magic and Wicca that are interchangeable with other things. It's about your intention of it. Now, in addition, gold is also the color of the god. Now, what we haven't talked about yet, because I was really going to get into it at the end in part 4, was when you're setting up the altar, you have the north, east, south, and west, and then on each side of the northern or earth position would be either a candle representing the god and goddess or a figurine, whether it be an ancient, like a reproduction. If you've got an original, you fucking rock, but like a statue of Baal as the god. But you're thinking Stargate.
I am.
But anyway, like you can't really see it, but right there is my statue of the triple goddess. So for my altar, I used that as my goddess on the left of north, and then on the right of north would be the god, which is Cernunnos, right? Sorry, thank you. Or if you just want to use a candle, if you don't have a statue, gold for the god, and white
or silver
for the goddess. So anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
All right, so zodiac signs associated with air, contrary to some people's belief: Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. There are some people who think that Aquarius is a water sign, and it is not.
We kind of talked about that with Virgo.
Yeah. Well, Hunter is an Aquarius. My niece, my one and only niece, is an Aquarius, and she thought she was a water sign, and I had to burst her bubble and tell her, no, sorry, honey. You're a lot like your auntie. You're an airhead, okay? That's it. You're an air sign. Mm-hmm. I see that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Tools associated with air. Now, here's the thing. You can get creative when it comes to air. It doesn't have to be something specific. It doesn't have to be the wand or the staff, which we have, the whole discussion about
get into that
the wand and the athame. If you don't have anything else, but you have like a really beautiful feather, you can use that as your representation of air. You can use an incense or the censer, like in the Catholic Church, they walk around swinging the thing that has the smoke coming out of it. You can use one of those. A pen, which is mightier than the sword, can be used to represent air.
Which I think that came about, this is my personal opinion. A pen, back in the day, pens were feathers.
Yes, they were quills. Which were made from feathers. But you can also do something like a picture of a fairy or an angel or a bird, butterfly, dragonfly, anything that has wings and can fly.
Bee.
A bee.
Now, the one thing I will mention is that many books and teachings, and even maybe from what I understand, I've never been part of a coven. I've thought about it, but I've never been invited. And, at this point, I don't really think I'd want to be subjugated to do only one person's or one group of people's perspective on magic at this point in my magical journey. But many teachings say that air, the air symbol, can be represented by the blade or an athame. I will explain why I disagree with that once we get to fire on the next episode. However, what was explained to me, or what I got from the teachings that I have done, or learning that I have done, is that there were, back in the 60s and 70s, and maybe even early 80s, there was much misinformation put out there because they being people like us that wanted to put information out there, but not put everything out there. Just like back in the day, if you wanted to learn magic, you had to be an apprentice to a shaman. Now, shaman is both male and female, so I don't mean man, okay, but to a teacher. You were an apprentice to a teacher, and they taught you the hidden stuff, and this being one of the hidden things. Like, the reason that we both believe that a wand and a staff, aside from tarot, okay, that is associated with air. Wands and staffs are made out of branches or wood. They are blown in the wind. They sway with the wind until they are harvested or fall from the tree and are used for something else. They are more closely associated with wind than a blade. Mm-hmm. So I personally believe, and several of the authors that I read also agree that the proper tool for air is a wand. Anyway.
Yes. But other things you can use as your tool for air would be things like a broom. One, because it's made, the homemade style are made from branches of a tree, but they also sweep away the negativity, so they move air mm-hmm. out of the area that they're used in. Bells.
Because it carries
sound.
Yeah.
Fans, like, the old style, like Japanese fans. Yeah. Wind chimes. Wind chimes are a good one because what do they do when it's windy? They make noise. They make
music.
They make music, yes. But they make sound. They carry sound. And me personally, I think that's probably my favorite tool to use for air.
Oh, we have a couple chimes out. We've wanted to put out more, but it just...
Yes. Like, what was that one we found at Black Market? Was it bamboo?
Yes, there's a bamboo chime at the Black Market Mineral. It's a shop at the
Arizona Mills.
Yeah, so I was going to say Sawgrass Mills, and it's a mall in South Florida that's owned by the same company. Anyway, Arizona Mills Mall, Black Market Mineral Company. They have all these bamboo chimes hanging all over the store, and they just sound beautiful.
They do. They really do. And currently, right now, we have one outside that has like dragonflies on it, and it's really pretty. But we do definitely need to add some more chimes.
Yeah. Plus, I want to put some in the front because it is believed by many, including myself, that the sound of the wind chime does drive away negativity.
And as somebody who has spent many, 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 many days here in this house by myself, because I was not working and I was focusing solely on school and kind of getting into a depressive mode, I can definitely say those wind chimes do drive away negativity. If you let them. Thing is they can't make you feel better unless you want them to make you feel better. It's kind of like with psychology.
I thought you were going to say sex. All I heard was S, and I went with, never mind. Anyway, moving on. All right, so the ruling planets. We've got Mercury, Jupiter, and Uranus. I know the 10-year-old is wanting to say Uranus, but it's Uranus. Since I'm not, I have a basic understanding of astrology. Mercury
is basically the Roman version of the Greek god of Hermes, who was not only the messenger of the gods, but also the one who taught us medicine.
Had the little wings on the
sandals. Yes.
Okay, and which one had them on the helmet?
Well, that was him too.
Oh, that was him too.
But he also had the staff with the caduceus that had, I think it had wings on it too. The caduceus was the two snakes around the
that
pole.
thing that basically is the DNA strain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jupiter was the Roman version of the Greek god of Zeus, who was the king of the gods. So it makes sense that he would represent air because he had the lightning. And then Uranus was basically the sky father of the Titans and the Cyclopes and all of the beings that were birthed from Gaia, which was the Earth Mother.
Mother Earth. He was also an asshole because he ate his kids.
No, that was Cronus.
Wait. What? What? Who did you just say?
Uranus, the sky father of the Titans?
But what was his name?
Uranus.
No. The Greek equivalent.
Same as the Roman.
It was the same name.
Yes.
Ah, yeah, they did have a few of those, like Apollo.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, go ahead. Like I said, I'm not really I love Greek mythos and Roman mythos, but yeah. Anyway.
So actually, one of the planets that we talked about during the Earth section, Saturn. Saturn is the one that equates to Cronus, which was the god, the asshole who ate his kids.
Except for Zeus, because she hid him in a cave, and he fed off milk and honey.
Right.
And they supposedly found that cave. Well, what they believe that the ancients thought was the cave, because they found remnants of offerings of milk and honey. Anyway,
right.
I digress.
So,
as usual.
Yeah. When we talked about Earth and we mentioned Saturn, that Saturn was the Roman equivalent of Cronus, who is the father of the Olympian gods, including Zeus. Which, if you read Greek mythology, it is so messed up.
Yeah, there's some ancestral.
Is it really any wonder that humans are as messed up as we are? But anyway, moving on, metals associated with air.
We forgot crystals.
No, we did crystals. Crystals.
No, we haven't talked about. We just talked about the planets, and now we got crystals.
Okay, crystals.
So we have topaz. And it's typically light blue. That would be like the sky. Amber, which would be
Like
orangish yellow, kind of like the sun. Unless, of course, there's inclusions in it, and then it's just kind of dirty. But still really cool with the inclusions.
But there is also yellow topaz.
Yes, there is. Citrine, which generally is a yellowish orange or yellowish gold.
Right.
Like the sun. Jasper, which...
There's so many different forms, but none of my research indicated which specific form of jasper.
Right. Just like the agate, which is the next one.
With agate. There are so many different kinds. I mean, there's like moss agate. There's... what is it? Crazy lace agate, blue lace agate. I mean, there's so many different kinds, but none of the research indicated which specific type of agate. So you would probably have to look at an individual type of agate in a book such as the Crystal Bible to see what specifically it does. Or you can look at the colors in that particular type of jasper or agate. If it's a yellow, a gold, a light blue, or a white, then it's probably something that you can use.
Right. Then for the metals, we have tin and copper. Now, again, there may be other sources that add other things, whether it be other crystals and planets and metals to the list. I would just do your due diligence to make sure it's just not that author's opinion. But yeah, tin can shine like the sun. I mean, you can bring it to a high sheen, almost like a mirror. Well, not almost, like exactly like a mirror. And it's very lightweight, kind of like air. You know, and then copper, well, I mean, you know, they've used copper as mirrors for millennia.
Right.
And I think I don't remember the inventor's name, but the one that supposedly, according to mythos, created a mirror from brass, which is a mixture of copper and I believe tin. I think. I could be wrong, but it was an alloy basically to burn the Roman ships. And you know what? Just so I don't put out misinformation, let me.
Was that Archimedes?
Yes, it was Archimedes. It's copper and zinc.
Copper and zinc.
Alloy of copper, usually with tin, but sometimes other elements, including manganese, phosphorus, silicone, and aluminum. So there's multiple versions of or descriptions of what brass was. Yeah, zinc was used for some, like red brass, but anyway. So it is something to reflect the sun, and yeah. So brass would also, I think, would be included in the metals, even though that's not part of our.
But also mirrors reflect our own personal images and our thoughts and
Right.
intentions. So, yeah.
And then the next is plants associated with air, and the east would be acacia, amis, aspen, clover, frankincense, lavender, lemongrass, which we've been trying to grow.
Right.
Right. We have such a hard time in this house with.
Right. With plants.
Well, I think it's more or less the area. Or it could be the house, but it's not us. Myrrh, pine, vervain, and yarrow. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. I have heard of all of them. I have read a little bit on all of them, and more on some of them. But like yarrow and vervain sounds like a bad joke to me. There's like a punchline somewhere. Like vervain sounds like something from, maybe something about werewolves and Frankenstein. Some kind of joke in there somewhere. But those are the plants associated with that. The virtues would be intelligence, practicality, and optimism.
Whereas the vices are impulsiveness, frivolousness, and being easily fooled. Now, switching back a little bit to the plants,
I knew it.
yarrow
'Cause
and
she's an
vervain
herbalist.
are healing plants.
Say that one more time.
Yarrow and vervain are healing
Okay.
plants.
Sorry for making you repeat. I was talking shit.
That's okay. And we will get into the healing properties of those plants a little bit later.
Well, that's interesting that they're healing and they're associated with air, because when you have a cut or scrape, you of course want to keep it bandaged for probably the first 24 hours, but then after that you want to leave it open to the air so it dries out and heals.
And here's the thing. Yarrow is what we herbalists refer to as a styptic, which means it will stop bleeding.
It's a dipshit?
Styptic.
Sorry, dick?
Styptic.
Okay.
TIC.
There's another
It
joke
will
in there
stop
somewhere.
bleeding. So
I'm going to make you laugh, yeah.
if you have a cut or scrape that is bleeding, you can basically chew up some yarrow leaf, stick it on there, and it'll stop it from bleeding. As well as help it heal.
Okay. Cool.
But we'll get in a little bit more into
You just
the healing
made me remember,
properties.
that tree with the big thorns, the big spikes that goes all the way up the trunk and up the branches? I don't know what it's called. But the natives used to, because if you chew on that, it will, if you have like something going on with the mouth, it'll kill the pain. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
Vices.
Vices. We went over the impulsiveness, frivolousness, and being easily fooled. Yeah, I can kind of see that.
But also airheadedness. That was not in. I did not include that, but yeah, being an airhead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are people like that that are, and I would bet $1 that their sign is an air sign.
Probably. Impulsiveness, yeah, you do whatever feels right or good in the moment. Frivolousness, not necessarily keeping track of what you're spending or,
I know a few people like that.
yeah. Being easily fooled, yeah, I can definitely attest to that one.
Now, air rules the mind. Again, airheadedness. Clarity, because, well, see, now that, because if someone's airheaded, they're not going to be very clear.
No, but with proper communication comes clarity. And that is
True.
another one of the things that the sign of air has control over.
True. Wisdom. This one I find humorous. Logic. What? How many airheaded people do you know that are logical? Thank you. Knowledge. Uh, Wind, obviously. The abstract, being able to see things that others don't or can't. Thoughts, higher consciousness, divination.
That's a huge one.
That is a huge one.
That is definitely a huge one.
Along with psychic work,
Yes.
it's also a huge one. Memory and intuition. Now, the psychic work can, and I never really thought about it, but like the whole meditation and doing the astral projection,
Mm-hmm.
that would be ruled by the air symbol
Yes.
or the air element of air.
As well as conversing with your spirit guides.
Spirit guides, yeah. Although they're usually pretty vague.
Well, yours are.
Yeah. Yeah, mine are. It's like they're like, okay, he's asking us a question. How can we fuck with him today? Let's give him this little bit of information, but don't mention that. And see what happens.
And
So-
then when you mention something to me and it's like, well, maybe blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I really think, my spirit guides have a seriously good sense of humor. But at the same time, I think they're reluctant to give me all the information because they really want me to figure it out.
Yes, they want you to figure it out on your own.
Yeah, but then what? We've had that conversation before.
Yes, we have.
Anyway, so yeah, that would be to the right on your altar, and whatever you want to use. What I've usually done for my altar for air, aside from my wand. Oh, be right back.
He's going to go grab his wand.
Now, also, I believe silver is part of the metals for this, but this is the one that I use. I had made by a Wiccan, and this was a willow tree because I find willow trees, first of all, extremely beautiful. I find the way they hang and just flow with the wind. It was beautiful. I wanted to make sure also that the bark remained intact, because all the energy flows underneath the bark between the wood and the bark itself. And then topped with a beautiful terminated quartz crystal, and then wrapped in silver wire. So this is what I use for air, but the other thing would be incense. I love incense. Love incense. And to me, other than a feather, the incense is like the epitome of the element of air. But anyway, I
Well,
digress.
we use the bell too.
And I use the bell all the time,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's part two. Hope you at least enjoyed it, if not learned something from it. We do appreciate you, and not going to get into subscribe, blah 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 blah. Just enjoy yourself. Be one with the universe and with yourself, and hope you have a great Thanksgiving, which is tomorrow. We will be doing part 3 on fire. Probably Friday?
Friday.
Friday, yeah. Not likely to do anything tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be kind of crazy. But we wish you well. Again, to our Indigenous friends and family, we love you, and have a great Thanksgiving, guys.
Peace out.
Peace.